Welcome back to Movie Take Tuesday, the movie review nobody asked for, that I'm giving you anyway. How nice of me. Anyway, so tonight, however you want to call it, we watched a banger of a movie. A banger. Now, I don't care if how I talk is cringe to you, okay? That's how I feel about this movie, which, if you're all wondering what it was Conclave, right? So, if you're unfamiliar with this movie, now, before I go, before I get going on this, first I need to push this away. This is getting in front of my hands. I try not to give spoilers when I talk about movies. I try not to. And if I do, I will make sure that I preface things with spoilers, okay? Now, that being said, I'm not going to spoil this movie because it deserves a watch from you in the theaters. Don't wait for it to come out on Hulu or Netflix or whatever, right? You need to go see this movie. Now, um, let me just kind of explain to you as to why, all right? Or at least, let me tell you what the movie's about first. I don't want to get ahead of myself here. So basically, it starts off with the Pope had like died. Not there's no like murder, there's no like ill intent. He like had a heart attack or he had health problems and he died, right? And so the whole premise of the movie is like the cardinals and everyone coming together to find a new pope, right? Um which I'm gonna be honest, didn't really hold any interest to me. Like it didn't seem like it was going to be that great of a movie. I liked the actors that were in it, which is kind of why I went and saw it. Um, but I didn't really like. I'm not like not. I'm not disparaging it or like kicking it or anything. I'm not Catholic, so like a movie about a pope, I was just like, I don't know. I kind of just want to see it just to see how it is, and it blew me away, right? Because it. I don't even know what genre of movie I would classify it as, right? Mystery, drama, suspense. It's not an action movie, I know that much. It's not a horror movie. It's not a romance. So yeah, I guess, okay, it's not that hard to classify. All right. Maybe it's not that hard. It's those three things. If I had to choose one of them, that would be the hardest part. If you had to choose between one of those three as to what the movie was, I couldn't tell you. So, those three things, and yeah, I mean, it focuses around this one guy who is kind of like he's called the dean. Forgive me for anyone watching that's Catholic if I don't understand all this stuff, so I don't know what's what, right? He's this dean guy who is kind of running the conclave, which is like that thing that they start to pick a new pope, right? They like hold a vote, all the cardinals come together, they're sequestered, which just means like sealed off from the outside world. So there's that. And basically it's almost like a political like race to see, not race, it's everyone's trying to gain everyone's favor to become the new pope, right? Not everyone is trying to be pope because there's like four or five guys that are like the main guys to become pope, right? And yeah, it focuses around the dean who's kind of like running the conclave and how there's a bunch of popes that have some like mysterious secrets and they have all these problems and look, I'm having a hard time explaining things without spoiling it because I don't want to do that to people who want to watch the movie. But I guess I also want to have these videos be for people who have watched the movie so we can discuss. But I don't know. It's a hard balance to find, right? So I guess from here on out, like I know I just earlier in the video said like, or a couple minutes ago, just said like I don't want to spoil the movie. So I'm gonna put a spoiler warning on this part right here because I'm going to start talking about elements that happened within the movie. So, I don't know. Spoiler warning, maybe. I don't really know if I will. But basically there's all these things that like uncovering pasts of certain popes, or like not even just pasts, like things that they did recently to like get them out of the running to be pope, right? And um I'm gonna be honest, I forget all the names of the popes because they were all difficult to understand. Like not difficult to understand. When the main guy was named Lawrence, that was his last name. I don't remember any of the other guys' names, but it's not that important. And he like finds all this dirt on like one of the popes. He finds like some other things, and like this is all happening. It's not like quick. It's all happening as the movie's going on, right? And the cool thing that something I really enjoyed about this movie was how um, I never knew what was going on. I thought I knew. I thought I knew the ending of the movie like half an hour in, right? I guess I'm saying right. I'm saying that a lot, like too much. So, okay, let's back up. Um, and then I lost where I was about the movie, and oh yeah, never knowing what was gonna like happen. Okay, so if you don't believe me yet that these are unedited and uncut videos on my first take, that last 30 seconds should prove it. Anyway, 30 minutes in, I thought I knew what was going to happen. I was completely wrong. I'm not going to say how the end was. I'm not going to, spoil who became the Pope at the very end. But I thought I knew. And I was like, well, I see where this is going. And I didn't. I was wrong. I was so wrong. But, I mean, that might be a spoiler in of itself in case you come to the same conclusions, but whatever. I don't care, okay? I gave a slight spoiler warning. That's not really a spoiler, but if you think it is, keep your opinion to yourself. No, I'm just kidding. You can comment that. I could use the comments. Severe lack of those. I mean, I have like 4 subscribers, so what do you expect? Anyway, not a big deal. Yeah, it, man, I'm trying to find something wrong with this movie because I really didn't see anything wrong with it specifically. It kind of checked all the boxes. I was locked in like the whole time. Like I got a phone call right before the movie started from one of my buddies, and I answered it. Now, before you get mad and say, oh, who answers a phone call in the movie theater? I was the only one there. Okay, I made sure of that. I go on days no one else goes. Okay, I go on Tuesday. Who goes to watch a movie Tuesday at night at like a nothing theater, right? Oh, I did it again. Whatever. I answered the phone call before the movie started. I don't care what you say about that. No one else was there. I didn't bother anybody. The movie hadn't even started yet. It was all the intro garbage filler crap that makes you sit there for an extra 15 minutes than you need to be at a movie. Okay? Um and yeah, I answered the call and didn't expect much from the movie, which is kind of why I was just like, whatever. It's like, I'll answer the call. I mean, the movie hadn't started yet, but I mean, from then on, I was completely focused on the movie. Like, I had a whole cherry Sprite, which, side note, and I might just add this into the videos because it's fun. I've been trying this, like, a side mission with all these movies I watch, a side mission quest. I don't care what you classify it as, but the theater I go to has one of these fancy like one of those fancy like drink machines, like the Coke machines that have like the hologram panel with all the drinks, and like you click one, it pulls up the drink, and like you can select all the flavorings, right? If you're with me, then you understand that these things are pretty cool, and you can get any drink of Coke brand, of course, of any flavoring. Well, a select few flavorings, but and I already worked my way through the Coke flavorings. There's like a bunch of those. I drank all those. They were fine. So now I'm starting on Sprite flavors, and I'm starting on Cherry Sprite, or I started on Cherry Sprite. Not bad. If you can't tell, I drank the whole thing. I'm kind of like wired, which is bad because it's like 11 o'clock at night. That's okay. I don't sleep much anyway. I gotta get back to the movie. Um, oh, there was a point to that. Basically, I had to pee throughout. Well, not the whole movie. Probably the last hour, and it's a 2 hour movie, so half the movie. And it was one of those movies where you don't leave. You don't. Because every scene is important. Not a single scene from that movie could be taken out and you still be following what's going on, which is what makes it such a great movie, right? You have all these movies that think runtime is the most important thing in the world. That if your movie isn't 2.5 hours long, it's not a good movie. All right. Well, here's my counter. If it's a 2 hour movie where every scene is vital, that's better than a 2.5 hour movie that has scenes where I could have been like, there was no point to that. Like, just remove it, you know? Or it ruins the movie. Like, I'm sure you've had it. I've had it for sure. Where, like, a certain scene in a movie ruins the entire movie, right? Oh, man. Stop with the rights. Whatever. I don't care. Um, you have the one scene that ruins the entire movie, and you're just like you're checked out. It's over. You don't want to watch the movie anymore. Conclave didn't have that. Conclave was good throughout the entire movie. I thought it kind of started slow, but it I mean it did, to be fair, but I mean, what movie that's like a drama, mystery, thriller, suspense thing doesn't start slow? Because it's got to build up, right? That's what gives it its the quality of, you know, a suspense movie. Um and so yeah, you couldn't take a single scene out. So I couldn't leave. I didn't want to leave the theater. Which means it's a great movie because if you remember, or if you didn't watch the movie from the review from last week, I explained my rating system. I'm not going to do that every video because it's going to take me like 5 to 10 minutes to do it again. And we're already at like, I don't know. I started my timer late. Okay. I'm seeing 12 minutes. I have no idea what we're actually at, but I'm not going to take more time to explain it again. But a movie that keeps me in the theater, even though I have to pee really bad, scores high on the scale, okay? So, man, do I want to talk about more before I just give my rating on the movie? I feel like I didn't really discuss the movie very much. I just said how great it was, and then I talked about Sprite and other things, but it's because okay. Okay, I have one thing. One thing that was funny that I found very interesting about this movie was it showed these cardinals, right? Like these high important Catholic figures. They portrayed them more human than I expected, right? Because I have no ties to Catholic faith, so I have no idea how cardinals represent themselves or whatever. And obviously, this is a movie, so I'm not saying this is truth. But like a lot of popes smoked, which I just thought was interesting. I'm not judging it. It's just like it was kind of funny. And I think one of the better parts of the movie was how one of the cardinals, who has like a very real shot at becoming pope, I kid you not, probably had a vape pen in his mouth for like the entire movie. Like almost every scene he was every scene he was in, he was taking a hit from a pen, like a vape pen, which like is so funny to me. Like, could you imagine, like, let's say you're Catholic, right? And you're waiting for this new pope to be announced. They get announced, and their first thing they do is they just walk up, like, to a podium or whatever, just go in Christ our Lord, amen. Like, how funny is that? So, anyway, I just thought that was interesting. And, like, the movie was not a comedy by any means, but that did make me laugh. So, yeah, that was, like, the one thing that did make me laugh from that movie. Um, but other than that, I would, I struggled with the rating on this movie because it definitely deserves at least an 8, right? But then I think back, and I obviously don't want to compare movies to like previous movies I've watched, okay? But Venom did get an 8. It might have gotten an 8 out of half. I don't remember what I rated it, but all that to say, I think I did enjoy it more than Venom, and I think that it deserves a 9.5 out of 10, which is high. And you're probably thinking, where's the 0.5 coming from? Why can't it get a 10? Not a lot of movies are going to get a 10, okay? Because just because I was locked in and there was a cool twist at the end of the movie and like it kept me engaged the entire time, I wouldn't say it like moved me emotionally, you know? Like it had some funny stuff. It had some like, whoa, like what? There was a moment where like I sat up in the chair and leaned forward. So, which is why it's getting a 9.5, not just a 9. But it's not getting a 10 because if I were to put it up against a movie that I have given, well, not on this channel or in reviews, but that I do believe is a 10 out of 10, I don't think it would compare to that. So, it's not fair just to have it sit at a 9, and it's too much to have it sit at a 10. So, 9.5 out of 10. Great score, great movie. Don't let this one be one you wait to come on streaming platforms or DVD. If you people still watch DVDs, I don't know. Seems kind of like old technology nowadays, but you might still have a DVD player. In any case, go watch the movie. It's 2 hours of your time. If you're watching this video and you've gotten to this point, you obviously have nothing else to do, so go watch a 2-hour movie. What harm could you possibly find in that? So, yeah, that's all I have for you. Go watch the movie. I hope you enjoy it. If you've watched this after watching the movie, please discuss what you think in the comments. And if you haven't watched the movie yet, then I encourage you to go watch it, right? Then comment. Or you can comment beforehand and just be like, oh, like, this made me want to watch the movie. I'm going to go do that. Whatever. I don't really care. I just encourage dialogue because it's fun to discuss movies. It's fun to argue about things that aren't really going to affect our lives. So go watch the movie. I hope you enjoy it. And I'll see you next Tuesday.